One of the questions we get asked the most when we tell people that we're walking around the country is, what are National Waymarked trails and why are we walking them? And so we thought we'd spend a little time explaining what the trails are and how they came to be. So the National Waymarked trails are a large network of walking routes in Ireland. The vast majority of the routes are multi-day trails and they are held to some level of a standard by the National Trails Authority, Sport Ireland currently. Basically, the rule of thumb is if you see Elvis, the little yellow walking man, if you see one of those markers, Elvis, then it's a National Waymarked trail. Otherwise, if you see red arrows or any other kind of waymarker, obviously it's a waymarked trail, but it's not necessarily one of the national waymarked trails. All of the national waymarked trails have Elvis, the yellow walking man, on them. There are some pilgrim routes that have like Bishop Elvis on them. He has a crook and everything, but those are kind of still in development. So when you see Elvis, you can rest assured that you're on a national waymarked trail. Thanks.
So these trails, I'm pretty sure the National Waymarked trails came around because the Ulster Way was developed in Northern Ireland, and that was developed in the 60s or the 70s, and suddenly there was this huge multi-day trail, and us down here decided that we should probably have something similar. So the idea for the National Waymarked Trails was born. A committee was set up, and on that committee was J.B. Malone, who was pretty integral to this development. Back in the 60s, he'd written a column for the Evening Herald about different hikes and different walks that he'd done through Wicklow, and it was those articles that were used to build the very first National Waymarked Trail, which was the Wicklow Way, and that opened in 1980. And since then, it's just kind of kept growing. Yeah,
and actually there's a monument to Jacob Malone on the Wicklow Way, and because it was the first trail, we'll be doing it last. We are all creative like that. Yeah, and actually people always ask us why we haven't done the Wicklow Way yet. And that's the reason. It's symbolic, I think, to do it last. Although we did do we did the fourth trail third, so there's that at least. The Thorn Way was the fourth trail to exist, and we did that as our third trail. So,
yes.
Yeah,
so then so after the Wicklow Way was the South Leinster Way and then the East Munster Way, and they all kind of linked together. And at the time they were hoping to make a trail that would actually just do a whole circle around the country. And they got part way, and they didn't keep building it on in order after that.
Yeah, I wonder when they abandoned the idea. And I wonder if someday we'll actually see a route the whole way around. Yeah,
so after the Wicklow Way, they made the South Leinster Way and then the East Munster Way, which all linked together. And kind of since then, over the years, they've added a few more trails. So they have the Avondew Way, the Dewhallow Way. I think you use a little bit of the Schlieltic Muscree.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
And you get down onto the Beara Way, you get the whole way to the end of the Beara Peninsula, and that route from Dublin all the way down to the bottom of Beara is known as the E8 walking route, so it's one of the E routes.
Which is a huge European network of walks.
Yeah. But they never really did the whole circumference.
No. Well, once you're down there, if you walk the E8 the whole way from Dublin down to kind of the edge of Cork, you could actually walk back up on the Beara Breffni Way and kind of go up the western spine of the country, and that'll lead you back actually, and then you can continue that on the Ulster Way and go the whole way around Ulster, and then you can get to the Mournes. You're actually almost there. Come on guys, all we need is like 3 more trails and we have the entire circumference. I've just now realised that this is a possibility. Okay, well, I guess they need to expand the Thorn Way.
Yeah.
There needs to be something that goes kind of Dundalk, that kind of down that way.
Yeah.
Right now there's between 42 and 45 National Waymarked trails. It depends on if you count ones that are closed or if you count ones that are just about to open. But it's quite a lot of trails. Our guess is that it's about 4,000 kilometres worth. The official number is something like 3,800, but we don't believe them. We know, we've been on them all. It's a lot of trails.
Yeah.
It's a lot of trails.
And there are a couple of trails then that have been closed. Are going to have general question marks.
Yeah.
That would be the
Leitrim Way.
Yeah.
Would be number one.
That's been closed and it's currently going through redevelopment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's the
Slí Connemara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is also closed and also supposedly going through redevelopment. But we've heard a lot less about that one.
Yeah. Also, we met a guy who told us that he'd walked it last year, so maybe it's fine.
Did we?
Yeah, on the Western Way.
There's the Ormond
Way, which is soon to be opened, I think. Maybe it's already opened and we haven't heard. But I think the waymarkers are there, the signage is there and everything. So
yeah, that one is just finishing off a couple of... Yeah.
So the trails we won't be walking during this project are the Leitrim Way and the Slí Connemara. We might walk the Ormond Way if it opens next year, sometime soon, within the next couple of months.
Before we finish the last 7 that we have to do. So while nearly all National Waymarked trails are multi-day trails, not all multi-day trails are National Waymarked trails. And 1 or 2 that we know of that kind of fit that would be St. Declan's Way, or...
There's a coastal walk in Wexford that we don't know for sure
if that still exists.
Yeah, maybe it was once a National Waymarked trail. We're not really clear on it.
I think there might be 1 or 2 stretches of the Bear Breffni Way or the Ireland Way that aren't National Waymarked trails that might become National Waymarked trails in the future once they develop it enough. It's actually developing a long distance trail in Ireland is incredibly tricky because so much of the country is private land. Yeah,
what's difficult is that the organisations behind these trails don't have a compulsory purchase power, so they can't just say, now we're putting a trail through your land. They have to ask, basically. And as you said, so much land in Ireland is privately owned. I think it's 93% of land in Ireland is privately owned. And it makes it really, really, really hard to put trails in that are kind of... Yeah. So what's particularly difficult is that you need to get the permission of potentially hundreds of landowners to put trails going through their land. And I think that's really, really, really hard. And I mean, a big part of walking in Ireland is making sure that you leave no trace, because otherwise landowners will get angry and then you won't have those trails ever again. And we've been on trails where, one landowner has decided that they didn't like having the trail on their land for whatever reason, and then a whole trail has to be redirected around because, maybe there were 10 kilometres off-road or something and this guy's field was right in the middle of it, and now you can't use any of that stuff anymore. For instance, on the Mid-Clare Way, you still see stiles that go through people's land, but the trail no longer goes that way, because seemingly every landowner no longer wanted the trail there, and now there's just loads of road. So that is why, in case you're wondering, that's why there's quite a lot of road on Irish trails, is because road is public land and it's not hard to route people onto. But so if you're used to walking in the UK, you might have a different impression of what these trails are going to be like. And that's just the way that it is here. We still really love the trails, but I can definitely imagine that it's a lot easier in a situation where the trails governing body has the ability to just say, now there's a trail through your land, sorry, bye.
Well, also Ireland just isn't all that wild. People expect Ireland to be very much like Scotland.
Yeah.
And we're really not that empty a country.
Yeah, Ireland isn't a big country at all. I mean, it's like 300 kilometres by 600 kilometres. It's not a very... And, it's quite sparsely populated, but still, you know, everybody owns all the land.
I thought it was really impressive. I read earlier today that 52% of trails go through Cuilcha land.
Yeah, Cuilcha is the National Forestry Agency, and Cuilcha basically are responsible for tons of the trails and tons of other trails, not just National Waymarked trails, but they also have huge numbers of national looped walks. They have bike trails. They do horse riding trails for people. So Quilch's recreational officers are on point.
Yeah, I wonder how the list of national waymark trails was decided. So we came across, there's just this list on the Irish Trails website of the national waymarked trails. So it's that list that we've kind of based what we're doing off of.
The fact that these trails exist at all is really like a heroic effort by not that many people, to have to get permission from potentially thousands of landowners, and to have to deal with getting styles in place, putting waymarking up, kind of putting boardwalking. It's all really, really hard, and I think it's just astonishing that we've managed to actually put this stuff together. And yeah, I just, just great job, everybody who's ever been involved in putting one of these trails together. 99% of them are fantastic trails.
And as always, we have to say a huge thank you to our patrons who support our project and make it all possible, and are fantastic people who support us over on Patreon. So this week I'd like to say a huge thank you to Terry Rogers, Alan Grant and Colin Wishaker. Your support means the world to us, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you very, very much for
The official number is something like 3,800, but we don't believe them. We've been on them all.
Will we try and list all the trails?
Oh my god, no. It's going to be like a whole video of us going like,
Okay. No. Okay, so...
We could. Believe me, we could list every single national waymark trail. I absolutely guarantee that we could do it.
Will I try to do it? Just let it finish in one go?
Yeah, okay. If you say for more than 3 seconds, we're going to stop.
Okay.
I'll count for you.
Ready?
Let's go.
To the Thorn Way, the Monaghan Way, the Royal Canal, the Grand Canal, the Barrow Way, the Wicklow Way, the South Leinster Way, the East Munster Way, the Avenue Way, the Duhallow Way, the Beara Way, the Sheep's Head Way, the Schlegeltic Muskerry, the Kerry Way, the Dingle Way, the North Kerry Way, the Burn Way, the Mid Clare Way, the East Clare Way, the Hymany Way, the Suck Valley Way, the Western Way Galway, the Western Way Mayo, the Miners Way, the Cavan Way, the Schlean Errigal, the Schleana Rossin, Schleana Finna, the Blue Stack Way, and the Schlee Columkill. What am I at?
You're at 30?
There's the Schlieve Bloom Way, the what's the name of that county?
Offaly. Offaly. The Offaly Way.
The Offaly Way, Schlieve Way, Offaly. The Tipperary Heritage Way, the Ballyhura Way, the Multeen Way.
Did you say the Afternoon and the Hollows?
Yeah.
You didn't say the Miners Way?
I did.
I didn't count. Okay. Well, what did we miss? What didn't you say? You said you did.
Yeah, started it there.
Said Sheepshead, Dingle, Kerry, Beara, North Kerry. Yeah, you did say those. The Schlegeltic Muskerry?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said the 3 in...
You didn't say the Kirkpatrick Heritage Trail?
No.
So that's one.
So yeah, the Kirkpatrick Heritage Trail.
What else did we miss? You got the East Munster and South Leinster Ways. And the Wicklow Way. Dublin Mountains Way?
No. Yes,
Okay,
Dublin Mountains Way.
There's the one that we walked, the Schlieve Way.
Oh yeah, the Schlieve Way and the Loch Derg Way.
Yeah. I've now lost count, but I think we're pretty much there.
Yeah.
I think we managed maybe 37 or 38 there out of all of them. Drop some knowledge on you. That was a really good take right up until I said drop some knowledge, and now I just throw it away.
Yeah.
One of the questions we get asked the most is, what are national waymarked? One of the questions, stop looking upwards for my great take that's about to happen.
Yes.
There's going to be so much B-roll. If we put up bloopers at this on this video, it's going to be about the length of the video itself.